There are two kinds of special coding exercises on DataCamp. So if you haven't watched the first video about regular simple coding exercises, I strongly suggest that you do this first because this video assumes that you already have these prerequisites. So the two special coding exercises are iterative and sequential. So an iterative exercise is going to iterate over the same step. And a sequential exercise is going to walk the student through a sequence of different steps. So in other words, an iterative exercise is great when you want to hammer a concept and practice the same thing over and over again. And the sequential exercise is great to break complex concepts into smaller steps and make them digestible. So let's look at some examples. Here we are on the exercise practice with count. So that's the count function in SQL. And we're going to have 5 steps to practice this function, but tweaking different things and practicing it on different tables. So the first exercise is about counting the number of rows in the people table. Okay, so we get these results. Then it's about counting the number of non-missing birth dates. So we just need to change the argument there. All right, and then we want the number of unique birth dates. So now we need to add a distinct clause there. Okay, so I think you get the idea on this specific exercise. So let's look at another iterative exercise. Comparing styles. So that's a seaborn exercise. So that's about comparing two different visualizations. So we have 2 steps, and these 2 steps are going to show us 2 different plots. So let's try it with the dark style first. And that's the result we get. And then the second step is about doing the same thing, so nothing changes, except that we need to replace our argument with white grid. So let's do that. And now we can see the difference. So we're doing the same thing, but we're tweaking a few arguments. Let's look at a third example of an iterative exercise. So this is about evaluating model quality. The first step has us performing a 4-fold cross-validation using the RMSE metric. And the second step will have us use the MAE metric. So let's do the first one. Take a good look at the code there and the structure. Run the solution. Okay, cool. And then you can see it's exactly the same code, but what we're basically going to do is replace RMSE with MAE. Cool. And then we can compare the difference in the results. So now that we've taken a good look over iterative exercise, let's look at an example of a sequential exercise. This is the exercise read a CSV file. So it's breaking down the different ways, the process for reading a CSV in R. So the first thing that you have to do is load the library. Cool. Then we're asked to create an object and to assign it the CSV bakeoff.csv. So let's do that. Then we ask to print bakeoff. Good. And the first step is just about adding skip equals 1 there. So you can see that here we didn't work just on this part and changing the ways that the different libraries that we import. We've got a first step, a second step, and a third step. So for example, coming back to this exercise here the idea was to hammer the concept of the metric. But if your process, if what you wanted to convey, the learning that you wanted to convey was about creating the matrix, then creating the parameters, and then getting the results, then you could have made this a sequential exercise.